Hey everybody, it's Tanya here. Welcome to 2020, the first energy video of the year, of the decade. Um, I hope the beginning of the year is treating you well and that you are safe and healthy wherever you are. Before I jump into what's going on with the planets this week, I just wanted to talk about my full moon event happening on Friday, the 10th of January, at the Sacred Nest in Ascot Vale, which is a really beautiful venue. And it's a chance for you to release and let go of some of the things. I'll talk about what's going on in the sky a little bit later, but it's a chance to really get into that on a personal level for you. And all of the proceeds from this event will be going to the Bushfire Relief Fund. So I hope you can make it. It's going to be a really lovely evening, and we'll be able to do some healing as well for ourselves and for others. And I'm looking forward to holding the space for everybody. So link below to tickets. So this week, I think that the main word for this week, I think, is anticipation. There really isn't that much going on until the weekend, when we're going to have a full moon eclipse in the wee hours of Saturday morning. And then on Sunday, we have Uranus going direct and Saturn and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn, which seems to be what all the astrologers have been talking about for a while. Or maybe it's just, the places I hang out online. I feel like the chat about this has been going on for quite some time. So there's a lot happening. So let's just get into it and have a look at the chart this week. So this is Monday, the 6th of January. So probably the biggest thing is that we've had Mars move out of Scorpio over the last couple of days into Sagittarius. So we had a lot of Scorpio energy happening at the end of 2019, and this was all about like dredging up the old things and transforming them, and starting to think about how we wanted to transform them as well, like starting to help us to release and Marie Kondo our lives a bit. And now with Mars in Sag, he's got a bit more fire behind him. Can be a little bit impulsive, but there are so many planets in Capricorn that I feel like Mars's impulsiveness will be kind of balanced out by all of this Earth energy. So I know personally I've felt a little bit more oomph over the last day or so, a little bit more energized to actually go out and do things and to start to tick off my to-do list after that whole no man's land between Christmas and New Year. And so you'll see that, Mars is making this aspect over to Chiron over in Aries, which again, Chiron is the parts of ourselves that we need to heal and where we can help others in. So there's this drive to start to use our past experiences going forward and to help create this new thing that we're stepping into. Again, we've got Jupiter and the South Node are over here in Capricorn. The South Node is the past, and Jupiter is all about expansion. So it's getting us to think about, well, what experiences have I had, and how can I use those in the future to help me get to where I want to be. Mercury has been transiting through Capricorn, getting us to think really pragmatically. Mercury in Capricorn wants to know all the details and the facts and have things laid out for it. So it's really helped to, whereas when Mercury was traveling through Sagittarius, we might have had all of these grand ideas. Now in Capricorn, it's helping us to actually just really concrete those ideas and create good steps and actions to it. So even though we've just had the New Year's Eve, time when everybody wants to set their resolutions for 2020. You know, Mercury now, it's not just about saying, oh, I want to lose weight, or I want to do this, that, or the other. It's actually going, well, I want to do this, and this is how I'm going to do it. So that's the beauty of Mercury happening over here in Capricorn at the moment. And again, we've got Venus traveling through Aquarius, as she's been doing for a little while. Uranus doing its thing in Taurus, which will, you know, be in Taurus for the next 6 years. So, you know, nothing new there. But, you know, again, change and expansion. And this is its last week of being in retrograde. So the last chances for us to really, you know, look within and think about that part of our lives that Taurus falls in. For me, it's relationships. So it's been this period of looking at myself and how I am in relationships, what I want out of relationships, that sort of thing. And so when it goes direct, hopefully my thoughts are all lined up and I can start to put all these things in place. So it depends on where Uranus is for you. And the moon will start off this week with the moon in Taurus, which is, again, earth sign. So it's going to have this nice grounding thing. We're going to feel emotionally safe. We're going to want to just sit with Taurus, enjoy the good things in life, like enjoy good food, earthiness. Taurus, again, it's all a bit of agriculture as well. So just really look at taking care of ourselves and how we're doing that, and how we can enjoy life, because Capricorn has all this energy. Capricorn's work, work, work. And Taurus is like, yeah, but I still want to enjoy the good things in life. So it's not all about work. So there are these nice, harmonious aspects going on here, which will help us with that. The rest of the week, you know, will still be relatively the same. So I won't go into day by day, but I'll just skip ahead into the 11th of January, when we have the full moon over in Cancer. So this is the exact time that it's happening for Melbourne in Australia. And so where all the planets will be in the sky. So on that day, yeah, we're going to have the ascendant with Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is wanting to explore new horizons. So there's something to do with this full moon when we'll start to explore our new horizons. And Mars is right here near the ascendant, helping us to do that, helping us to drive into those new spaces. It doesn't necessarily have to be overseas spaces. It could be new spaces in your mind, new spaces in your work, whatever it is. The full moon, you know, we've got this great stellium happening over here in Capricorn in the second house of money and self-worth and values. So really interesting here for the southern states of Australia, having this happen here. And, you know, at the time of the full moon, you've got the Sun and Mercury conjunct. So Mercury is actually going to be cleansed by the Sun again, which has happened a little bit recently. So, you know, all of these thoughts, they're just going to be purified, and any old negativity or old negative thought patterns will be able to easily be released and burnt up by the Sun. And what have I done here? Oh, here we go. And so again, we've got the moon over here in Cancer. It is an eclipse. So, you know, it's the second eclipse in a couple of weeks. So, you know, since the eclipse on Boxing Day, the lunar eclipse in Capricorn, things have felt a little bit dreamier than usual. And we also had that weird no man's land time, like I said, between Boxing Day, Christmas and New Year's. And eclipses bring sudden changes and endings. And, you know, we've got this happening here for where it falls in your chart. For me, Capricorn is my fourth house of, you know, home, family, foundations, and Cancer's in my 10th house of career. So these eclipses that have been happening every 6 months in these signs for the past 18 months or so, I've seen changes happening in those areas of my life. So depending on how your chart looks, you'll be experiencing these in different ways, and having different experiences with the eclipse. So this, we've got another eclipse happening in June, July, another eclipse season in these signs. And then that's kind of the end of the Capricorn Cancer eclipse pairing, and then we'll start experiencing them in Gemini and Sagittarius. So it's kind of like one of the last moments to really look at. And if if you haven't been working on things and making the changes yourself, you'll start to see them forced upon you just by circumstances changing. So just really be careful what you wish for. Choose your words wisely, and just go with the flow as well with this. And now we get to the biggie. So this is the Saturn-Pluto conjunction on Sunday the 12th of January. And again, I've drawn the chart for Melbourne for the time of the sunrise that day. And I was pretty excited to see, we've got Sun and Mercury still here together at 21 degrees. And then we've got Saturn and Pluto together at 22 degrees. So all these 4 planets are pretty much hanging out together right on the ascendant. So the ascendant is how we move into the world. And so there's this really beautiful feeling of we're going to be waking up on Sunday and moving into the world with a new, fresh start. Now, I also wanted to just mention that these changes and these transformations, they kind of feel like trite words, like trite astrology words. Journey is another one, and things like that. But I think that a lot of people have been feeling like things are changing for them, and they're going through this metamorphosis. Saturn and Pluto, especially Pluto being the planet that is furthest from the sun, things move slowly. And so don't expect to wake up on Sunday morning suddenly feeling refreshed and renewed and like someone's waved a magic wand and everything's all magnificent and wonderful. It just means that this is the beginning of a new cycle, of a new way of being you. A new way of you shining, a new way of you communicating, a new way of you being out in the world. So the last conjunction for Saturn and Pluto was in November of 1982. It doesn't happen very often. So it's my birthday this week. My birthday's on Thursday. So I was born in January 1983. So pretty much these planets had their conjunction. A couple of months later, I was born. And so this whole cycle has pretty much been my whole lifetime. So I actually haven't lived through one of these conjunctions before. So depending on how old you are, you may or may not have. So I'll be turning 37 this week. So it's been a while since that, and the next conjunction of these 2 planets will be in 2053. So I'll be 70 years old then. So we'll see what happens. So it doesn't come around very often, but it's just this new way of you just saying, hey, look, these things which I once had in my life, they're no longer useful to me. And I'm going to go out there and find something which feels more useful to me, which is more aligned with the person that I am now, because I have grown and changed and had these experiences. And, this is how I'm going to do it. And so, don't be scared of this. I think a lot of the rhetoric out there on the internet about this conjunction, it's kind of putting fear into people's hearts. But really, it's just saying, you know what? I don't need this anymore. It was great at one point in time, but right now I am just going to move on and create something new, have a new career, a new relationship, a new house, a new country, whatever it is. We're going to see this play out, not just, this year, but over the next 5 years as well. So really just take your time to set your intentions as well, and to set a big intention for for 5 years, you know, make a 5-year plan. Where do you want to be in 5 years? And then you can start to work backwards and set the goals in place as to how, the steps in place as to how you're going to reach this point in your life. So it's really just energetically helping us to switch and to shake ourselves up in a way that we haven't really experienced for 37 years. On a world scale, you know, we've been seeing a lot of power and politics playing out. There's a lot of change shaking up the world, and that's been Pluto's work in Capricorn. You know, Capricorn represents institutions, you know, like banks, politics, churches, you know, that sort of thing. And Pluto is all about digging up things and bringing all the sort of evilly bad gunk to the surface of what's not working. So you can look at it clearly and be like, hang on a minute, this isn't right. We need to change this. So it has been happening over the last few years just on the world stage, and there's going to be even more of it. So I think in the next 5 years, the world is going to become a very different place. Our leaders are going to be very different, and they're going to lead from a very different space. Who knows? I don't know how possible it is to actually change the structure of political parties or the way that countries are governed, but we might see this happening as well. So it's going to be a really interesting time to see how it all plays out. So yeah, the other thing that's going to be happening on this day of the conjunction, like I said, Uranus, see, it's lost its little R that was next to it. It's now direct. So Uranus, a planet of change and freedom, checking things up. It's moving forward again. It's going to be direct for the next number of months. It's going retrograde on the 15th of August. So we've got a good 8 months of Uranus moving ahead for us to actually start to use its energy to create more change in our lives. And we've got this really nice trine flowing between Mars, the Moon, and Chiron. So it's all about, you know, they're all in fire signs. So it's about using that inspiration that fire gives us, trusting in our intuition as well. Moon is our emotional self, and we've got Mars here, which is our action and our drive. And like I said earlier, Chiron is the parts of ourselves which are wounded, and how we can use our past experiences to heal and teach others. So it's about looking to the past to help create our future. So yeah, I think that's probably enough for today. So yeah, if you are interested in coming along on Friday, the 10th of Jan, you know, I'll have your chart ready for you so you can actually look and see how all these events will be lining up for you in your life and how they'll be playing out. And we'll share a little bit about what we want to release or bring into our lives, some meditation, some movement. Yeah, it's going to be really great. So I hope you can make it. And like I said, all proceeds will go to the Bushfire Relief Fund. So that's also, you know, we'll be helping others in our own way. We've got to help others how we can in the way that we can. So have a good week, and I hope that it's a good one for you, and look forward to talking to you soon.